Hey guys, it's Sarah and I am sitting down at my desk. It's been a minute since I've been here, so I'm excited to get back to work. Now, if you will remember, I had pulled a homemade kit for the Rediscover Your Stash Challenge that is run by Sarah Scraps and Christina Sorge. I will leave both of their information down below. I'm going to leave their YouTube channels, and then I'm going to have to figure out what I can link in order for you to see this challenge. But basically what it is you build your own little homemade kit, or you pull supplies that you want to work your way through, and then you also go on a spending freeze for a certain amount of time. The only thing I think that is not counting is if you get monthly subscriptions. You know, you don't have to cancel your subscriptions for anything like that. Or in my case, I have a design team kit that comes. So I'm not going to, stop designing, obviously. But anything else, like all the extra little trips to the stores or buying online or getting new collections, we're going to stop that for a couple of weeks here. So they are doing round 2. And this is the kit that I pulled for round 1. And I got quite a few pages done. I still have them set aside, and I have some empty containers and empty packages set aside too, because at the end, I'm going to show you all of the products that I worked my way through and I completely used up. Now, they are doing round 2, and I'm really, really excited because I had put this aside. I still have pictures printed and pulled for here that I wanted to use, and I was ready to get back to it and kind of finish it up. And then they decided to do a round 2, and I was like, that's perfect, great timing, because I can go ahead and do that now. So that's going to be my plan. I have at least 3 more layouts planned right now. I don't know if I'll get through any more or not. One of them is going to be going up on the very last day of this challenge, which will be September 5th, and that will be my next Sketches in Time. I'm going to do that with this kit, and I already have it pulled, and I'm excited about that. So hopefully I can get 3 more layouts done with this kit so I can show you, and then I will show you at the end all the layouts that I made using it and what all my empty packages are and what I used up. So if you will remember, this is my inspiration for this kit, and it is just a random pack of die cuts. And I wanted to work my way through some of these die cuts. These are all random. They're from different companies. Some of them I cut for my silhouette. They're just, things that I want to try to start using up. And I have used quite a bit, but I'm trying to use up some of these on each one of my layouts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start on this next one. Christina has challenged us to do a sketch. So this is the sketch that she posted in the event, and this is what is going to be our first challenge. So I'm going to use this sketch today to make my layout, and I'm going to be using these 2 pictures. Now the picture or the sketch calls for 1 by 4 by 6. I have 2 4 by 6s, but I'm going to put them vertical next to each other, so it'll be more like a 8 by 6, I guess you could say. And they are of a ladybug crawling on both of my girls. So I'm gonna do that, and yeah, I will leave their informations down below, but you do have to send them friend requests on Facebook because it is a Facebook event and they have to personally invite you, so you have to be their friend in order for you to be added to the event site. So that's what I'll do. I'll leave their Facebook links down below, and then you can click on them and then send them a friend request and they'll add you. Just make sure you send them a message and let them know that that's what you're there for. And they put a lot of challenges in there randomly. So it's been a lot of fun, use up your oldest product from your kit or a sketch or something like that. So I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and use that sketch. I'm going to get this layout done, and I'm going to be watching my next show binge. I'm starting another binge. I'm 3 binges in now. This will be my 4th one, but I'm trying to really catch up on some shows. But I'm going to start watching How to Get Away with Murder, and I have 14 episodes to watch, and then I'm completely caught up on that one. So that's not what I'm starting from the beginning. I'm already into the show. I just have to catch up on it. So that's what I'm going to be watching. All right, let's do this. Okay, so as what always happens when I take a little bit of a hiatus from scrapbooking and then I get back to my desk, it takes me a couple of layouts to really find my groove again. So you're going to see me struggle just a little bit, not really like, designing the layout because it's already designed for me. I'm just, like when I'm picking my papers here, I'm not being very decisive and I can't figure out exactly what I want, but I end up really loving what I come up with. So I'm going through some of my scraps because I know that I'm going to be cutting up little squares. So I'm trying to see what papers I want to cut out these little squares from. And I am just pulling some things that are kind of jumping out at me at first. And then I'm trying to decide on cardstock, you know, if I want to use cardstock or if I want to use pattern paper. And I decided to use pattern paper. And this is the paper pad that I pulled to use with this kit, and I have been primarily using this for backgrounds and for my pattern paper options. And so I'm going to look through here and I'm going to pick one to be my main background. And I'm going to end up using this one right here. It's a pretty subtle pattern. It has pink and red diamonds on it, but it's not too overwhelming. They're a little bit muted. And now I'm looking at my cardstock and trying to decide if I want to use any of these three colors that I have, and they're not really working for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out a piece of black cardstock, and I'm going to use that instead. So I'm going to use these two things. I will end up, I believe I'm going to map my pictures onto the black cardstock in the center, and then I will cut those out, and then I will use the remainder of the cardstock as kind of my backdrop. And I did go ahead and cut down that piece of paper down by 1/4 inch. So I am going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to put my pictures in the center of the cardstock here. I have to trim up Layla's picture a little bit. It was a little jagged when I had cut them initially after I printed them. So I'm just having a hard time. As you can see, there's some little pieces sticking out. So I'm just going to use my scissors and clean that up. And then I am going to cut this down a little bit because this picture is a little bit larger somehow. Sometimes that happens when I cut down pictures. I cut down a little bit more than I think. So now they're the same size, and I'm going to go ahead and use my craft knife, and I'm going to gut out the center of this cardstock here, and then I will clean up the edges with my trimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive right here, and I'm going to do adhesive on this one as well. And then I will put this down on top of the black cardstock so that I have the black border. Okay, so now I have these two pictures ready to go, and I need to decide on what else I'm going to put on here. So I have this strip, this little scrap here, and it has a little border that says I love you on it, and it has the pink and the red, and I really like that. So I'm going to go ahead and use that as a vertical element. And then I have these little October afternoon, I think these are 2x2 little cut apart cards. And I'm going to use a couple of these, and this is going to be kind of the start of my little square collage down here. And in the sketch, it has 3 rows, but I'm only going to do 2. So I'm just kind of picking out what is going to work for me. I really like that one with the yellow band that says hello friend, and that's really cute. And then I have one that says I love this. And so I'm going to kind of use those as my starting point, and I'm going to cut up some of these little scraps of paper. I'm going to end up using my pencil and just marking where I need to cut them down because they're not quite 2x2, they're a little of a strange size. So I'm just going to make it work. And I'm going to end up doing 4 in each row. So while I'm doing that, I'm watching How to Get Away with Murder, like I said. So I think I ended up watching 2 episodes while I was doing this layout and kind of doing some of my editing and stuff. And man, that's a good show. I always forget how good it is, you know, if I stop watching it for a little bit and kind of let it build up a little, and then I go back and watch it. It's just really good. It takes lots of twists and turns that I enjoy. There's been a couple times where I'm kind of like, oh, I don't like that plot twist. But not enough to make me stop watching it, obviously. So it gets a little weird sometimes, but overall I really like it. Okay, so I am finishing my coffee, and I have these little strips here. So I have this little one that says today all over it, and it's black, and that's going to help bring out the black in the background there. And then I have this little bird paper, which is so stinking cute. I absolutely love this pattern of paper, and I've had that for a very long time, so I'm finally going to use a little bit here. But I want to make sure I have a red bird in there to help bring out the red, and I just think that's adorable. And then I really like this cactus paper too. I don't know why. We don't have a lot of cactus where I live anymore. We used to live in Arizona, so that's where I need to be, you know, I need to find pictures from Arizona and use the cactus on those. I'm sure I have some somewhere. But I just think it's cute, so I'm going to go ahead and stick a square of that down here too. A little nature-y. We'll go with it. Okay, so I'm trying to make sure I have everything spaced out the way I like it, and if I want the squares to touch, and I do end up having them touch because it's going to take up exactly the amount, you know, it's going to run the exact length of the photos, so it's going to be perfect. I do need something in between the pattern paper of the background and the little squares. So I am going to go through this pattern paper pack again, and I'm going to pick something to put everything on and then cut out. So I'm going to use this one here. I'm going to cut this down by a lot, but I'm going to go ahead and put the pictures on there, and then I'm going to put these underneath as well, and then I will cut one big mat, basically, is what I'm going to do. Because I needed some sort of separation between the background paper of that pattern and then all these little patterns that I have going on too. And it's going to make a big difference. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then I will put these down. I'm going to skip forward a little bit so you don't have to watch me just sticking these down. And then I'm going to just cut this down just like a photo mat, basically. And it's going to make a pretty big difference as far as standing out against the background there. Okay, so I have my strip here that I'm going to use as well. Sorry, my head keeps getting in the way there. And I'm going to kind of layer it over a little bit of the squares on the bottom because the squares don't line up perfectly. So I'm just going to kind of hide that little blemish there by just kind of overlapping my elements here a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go through my die cut pack, which was the basis for my kit, and I'm going to go ahead and pull out a few things here that I really like. I have some florals that I cut out. I have this little acetate camera. I have an acetate ampersand inside a speech bubble that I'm going to use, and then everything else will be just random stuff that I pulled from for my kit. Now I'm going to put this camera on a piece of white cardstock so that it stands out a little bit more, since I have a lot of patterns going on, and I am going to run that through my Xyron, and then I'm going to put that on top of the cardstock and then just cut around it. So if I just put it on everything, you're going to see all that pattern through it, and it's going to be very distracting. It's going to pretty much blend in. You're not going to be able to see it. I do have a little bit of that adhesive from the Xyron coming through those little slats there, so I'm just using my finger to rub it off, and it comes off nicely. So, and I'm going to use my scissors and just fussy cut around this, and it's going to pop pretty nicely. And I have these labels here, which are, I believe, from Studio Calico, and I'm going to use that as a layering piece as well. Now I need to work on my title, and I am going to go through my thickers and see what I have, but I know that I have some of those yellow thickers there that I spelled out the word bug, and I want to use that, so then I need to think about how else I'm going to create the rest of the title, because I don't want the title just to be bug, it needs to be more than that. So I'm going to take the 6x6 paper pad that I have pulled, and I'm going to find a piece of paper to be the basis for my title, and I choose this red. It's going to stand out nicely. And I am going to cut that into a banner. But first I need to make sure I have the right length and the right height, so I'm going to go ahead and just measure it up against my thickers that I know I'm going to end up using. And I'm going to go ahead and fishtail one end of it, and then I will cut it down when I figure out exactly how much room my title is going to take up. Make sure my camera fits on top as well. And I'm going to go ahead and stick this down, and then I will put this little label up there and then the camera. And that is all from the sketch as well. Okay, so now I'm going to work on my title. I'm going to use these stickers to put bug down here. And then I am also going to use one of these little die cut flowers that I had fussy cut from something, probably some sort of scrap paper. And I'm going to go ahead and put these down. I have this little tag here that says good times on it, and that is just from the kit. And then I'm going to end up using these Bo Bunny double dot alphabet stickers, and I'm going to spell out Hello Lady in 2 different colors there. And then that's going to create my title that says Hello Ladybug. And then I'm going to put this little acetate ampersand right here on this black. You can see that much better in person. The camera doesn't pick it up quite as well because it is like an acetate type of sticker. This is a butterfly from crepe paper, so I'm going to stick that there. And I'm literally looking around to see what else I can put down. I have that wood veneer that's going to go in right inside that camera lens, which is perfect, and that's from Studio Calico. And then I have that puffy sticker from Amy Tangerine that I put down there. And I'm going to go ahead and poke holes in the center of all 3 of these flowers, and I'm going to use these My Mind's Eye brads, and these have like butterflies and flowers and one yellow that has just a random pattern on it. So I'm going to go ahead and use these in the center of all of these flower die cuts, and that helps bring them together. And then I'll use some washi tape to hide the brads just to cover them up so they don't get snagged on any other of my layouts when I put them in my album. And I did poke a hole in the camera there because I thought maybe I'd do a brad in there instead, but it didn't take up as much room as I was hoping, so I'm just going to use that wood veneer like I planned, so I really like the way that looks. And that's it, guys. That completes it. I don't need any journaling because it's just about a ladybug crawling on my girl's arms, so nothing, you know, life-changing. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please check out the Facebook event if you can, and I will be back again soon with some more layouts. Have a great day, guys.